Still playing with your worthless app? My cousin Derek mocked at Grandma's funeral, his Goldman Sachs business card practically glowing in his Tom Ford suit pocket. The entire extended family gathered around her casket seemed to lean in as he continued his performance, unaware that my worthless app had just processed its 10 millionth transaction that morning. What he didn't know, what none of them knew, was that in 6 months, I'd own the company that owned his company. Some of us have real jobs at Fortune 500 companies, Derek continued, adjusting his Hermès tie while our aunts nodded approvingly. I mean, it's cute that you're trying the whole startup thing, Jamal. But when are you going to grow up and get serious about your career? You're absolutely right, I nodded, keeping my voice steady despite the burning in my chest. Fortune 500 companies are definitely where the real work happens. Derek's smirk widened. He'd been doing this since we were kids. Him the golden child with straight A's and Harvard MBA, me the creative one, who went to state school and wasted time on computers. Even here, at our grandmother's funeral, he couldn't resist establishing the pecking order. I'm just saying, he continued, loud enough for our cousins to hear. Grandma always worried about you. She used to ask me if I could get you an interview at Goldman. Entry level, of course, but at least it would be stable. I glanced at Grandma's casket, draped in white roses. She'd been the only one who understood. When everyone else saw me coding in my bedroom as hiding from the real world, she'd bring me sandwiches and ask about my progress. She'd invested her entire savings, $50,000, in my startup when no one else would even look at our pitch deck. Remember that family dinner when you tried to explain your little app? Cousin Vanessa chimed in, eager to join Derek's performance. Something about payments and blockchain? Grandma just patted your hand and changed the subject. So embarrassing. She was probably confused, Derek added with fake sympathy. Old people and technology, you know? But hey, at least you're trying. That's what matters, right? The irony cut deep. Grandma hadn't been confused at all. She'd asked precise questions about our user acquisition strategy, our burn rate, our path to profitability. She'd understood more about modern finance than Derek with all his Goldman credentials. How's the app doing anyway? Uncle Robert asked, genuine curiosity in his voice. Still working on it? Still working on it, I confirmed. See, that's the problem with startups. Derek launched into what was clearly a prepared speech. 90% fail within the first year. 95% within 5 years. You're what, 3 years in? Statistics aren't on your side, cousin. You're right about the statistics, I agreed. Whereas at Goldman, I'm working on deals worth billions. Real money, real impact. Last week alone, I structured a merger worth more than your little app will see in its entire lifetime. Aunt Patricia beamed at him. We're so proud of you, Derek. Following in your father's footsteps. A real businessman. I thought about mentioning that my little app had processed $8.2 billion in transactions last quarter. That we had 40 million active users across 15 countries. That TechCrunch called us the future of financial technology. But what was the point? They'd already written their narrative. Jamal's app is actually pretty interesting. My sister Keisha tried to defend me. It's about democratizing financial access. That's sweet, Derek cut her off. But playing with apps isn't the same as real finance. When you're ready to join the big leagues, Jamal, let me know. I might be able to get you in as an analyst. You'd have to start at the bottom, but everyone does. I appreciate that, I said, meaning it. His condescension had just made my next decision much easier. The funeral continued with Derek holding court, telling stories about his latest bonus, his promotion track, his connections. I stood by Grandma's casket, remembering her last words to me. Build something that matters. And when they finally see it, don't let them pretend they believed all along. 3 months later, I sat in a boardroom in Manhattan, facing the senior partners of Apex Capital, Goldman Sachs' parent company after a series of mergers. They didn't know who I was yet. To them, I was just another tech CEO in a hoodie, probably overwhelmed by their marble and mahogany. Mr. Williams, the lead partner began, Nexus Technologies has made an interesting offer for Apex Capital. Frankly, we're surprised. You're a fintech startup. We're an established financial institution with 200 years of history. Exactly why you need us, I replied, sliding a tablet across the table. Your mobile banking adoption is 23%. Ours is 97%. Your average customer age is 52. Ours is 28. You're bleeding younger customers to apps like ours. Apps come and go. Our app processes more transactions daily than your entire retail division. Our AI-driven investment platform outperforms your human advisors by 34%. We have banking licenses in 12 countries you've been trying to enter for a decade. The partners exchanged glances. They'd done their homework. They knew every word was true. The offer stands at $47 billion, I continued. Cash and stock combination. You keep your brand, your people, your culture. But you operate on our technology stack. Think of it as evolution, not acquisition. And if we refuse, then we continue taking 100,000 of your customers every month. We continue partnering with your competitors. We continue making traditional banking look like what my cousin calls it, playing with apps. The negotiation took 6 weeks. The financial press went wild. David swallows Goliath, how a 3-year-old startup bought Wall Street. The deal closed on a Thursday. That Friday, I visited the Goldman Sachs building one last time. Derek was in his cubicle, not the office he always bragged about, when his boss appeared with HR. Derek, can we see you in conference room B? I waited in the conference room, watching the city through floor-to-ceiling windows. Derek entered with his usual swagger, then stopped dead. Jamal, what are you doing here? This is a restricted floor. Have a seat, Derek. I don't understand. Why are you? He noticed his boss's expression. The HR representative's formal posture. The documents on the table. Nexus Technologies completed its acquisition of Apex Capital this morning, his boss explained. As part of the integration, we're restructuring several divisions. Derek's face went through several colors. Nexus, that's my worthless app, I finished. Yes. The silence stretched like a taut wire. This is a joke, Derek said finally. This has to be a joke. I pulled up my phone, showing him the Bloomberg headline. Nexus CEO Jamal Williams completes $47 billion acquisition of Apex Capital. You're the CEO of Nexus? Founder and CEO. Started in my bedroom while you were getting your MBA. Scaled it while you were mocking me at family dinners. Built it into a Fortune 500 company while you were telling everyone I needed a real job. Derek slumped in his chair. But you never said. Would it have mattered? Would you have listened? Or would you have found a way to dismiss it, like you dismissed everything I did? His boss cleared his throat. Mr. Williams has requested to handle your transition personally. My transition? I slid a folder across the table. We're eliminating redundancies. Your position is one of them. However, I'm offering you a role in our innovation lab. Entry level, of course, but everyone starts at the bottom. The words, his words, hung in the air like a curse coming home. You're firing me? I'm offering you an opportunity. The Innovation Lab is where we develop next-generation financial products. It's where former Goldman analysts learn how worthless apps are built. You'd be working for Keisha, actually. I hired her to run the division. Keisha? My little sister? Your little sister who believed in the vision while you were giving speeches about failure statistics. She's brilliant, by the way. Just needed someone to see it. Derek's hands shook as he opened the folder. The salary was decent, about what he'd made as a first-year analyst. The irony wasn't lost on him. This is revenge, he said quietly. This is business. Your division has underperformed for 3 years. Your team has the highest turnover rate in the company. Your clients specifically asked to work with our people instead. I'm offering you a chance to learn, to grow, to be part of something innovative instead of just protecting the status quo. And if I refuse? Then you take the standard severance package and find another firm that values condescension over competence. Your choice. He looked at his boss, who avoided eye contact. At the HR rep, who remained professionally neutral. Finally, at me. You planned this. From the funeral. You planned this. From long before that. From every family dinner where you humiliated me. Every holiday where you made sure everyone knew I was the failure. Every gathering where you turned my dreams into punchlines. I was just establishing dominance. I know. It's what they taught you at Harvard. Step on others to climb higher. Make them small so you look bigger. Classic Goldman culture. That's not. Derek. I leaned forward. I'm offering you something you never offered me. A genuine opportunity. Not charity, not pity, but a chance to prove you're more than your MBA and your connections. To build something instead of just managing other people's money. He was quiet for a long moment. Why? Because Grandma would want me to. Because success isn't worth anything if you become the thing you fought against. Because maybe underneath all that ego, there's someone capable of growth. And I'd be working for you? For Keisha. But ultimately, yes. The worthless app guy would be your boss's boss's boss. He signed the papers. What choice did he have? The severance would run out, and every other major firm was either our partner or our acquisition target. The news spread through the family like wildfire. Derek Hammond, the golden child, now worked for Jamal's startup. The cousins who'd laughed at my app were suddenly very interested in whether we were hiring. The aunts who'd pitted me for not having direction wanted to know if I could look at their grandchildren's resumes. I turned them all down, politely but firmly, except for Derek. 6 months into his new role, he knocked on my office door, a converted warehouse in Brooklyn, because I'd never wanted Wall Street marble and mahogany. You were right, he said without preamble. About everything. The app, the vision, the future of finance. I was an arrogant asshole. Yes, I agreed. You were. Keisha's brilliant. The thing she's building. I had no idea she was capable of this. Because you never looked past your assumptions. I want to apologize. Not just for the job, but for everything. The funeral, the dinners, the years of. Derek, I interrupted. Build something amazing. That's the only apology I need. He's still there 3 years later. Leads a team now, earned it through merit rather than pedigree. He's good at what he does when his ego doesn't get in the way. At family gatherings, he's quiet now. No more speeches about real jobs and worthless apps. No more performance reviews of everyone's life choices. He listens when others talk about their dreams, asks genuine questions, offers help without condescension. Last Thanksgiving, as we stood by Grandma's grave bringing her flowers, he said something that surprised me. She knew, didn't she? Grandma. She knew what you were building. She believed when no one else did. That $50,000 she invested? I tried to pay her back with interest. She refused. Said the only payment she wanted was for me to prove them all wrong. And you did. We did. Every employee, every user, every person who chose innovation over tradition. We all proved them wrong. Derek nodded, then placed a printed screenshot by her headstone. It was Nexus's stock price, showing a market cap that made us one of the most valuable companies in America. Think she'd be proud? He asked. I thought about Grandma, who'd worked as a seamstress for 40 years, who'd saved every penny to invest in her grandchildren's dreams, who'd seen potential where others saw only risk. She'd be proud that I gave you a second chance, I said. That was her real gift, seeing the best in people, even when they couldn't see it themselves. We stood there in comfortable silence, two cousins who'd traveled very different paths to the same destination. The golden child who'd learned humility. The worthless app creator who'd learned grace. The next day, Derek posted on LinkedIn. 3 years ago, I mocked my cousin's startup at our grandmother's funeral. Today, I'm proud to work for him and learn what real innovation looks like. Success isn't about the name on your business card. It's about the problems you solve and the lives you change. It went viral in the tech community. Thousands of comments from people with similar stories, dismissed dreamers who'd proved their doubters wrong. I didn't comment on the post. Didn't need to. The app spoke for itself. Just like Grandma always said it would.